Canada's new job numbers are out. The national unemployment rate at 5.6%. Overall, about 35,000 new jobs in December. Those are good numbers. Ontario, even better, 5.3% unemployment. And over the last year, 243,000 jobs, 227,000 of them full-time jobs. Vic Fideli is with me. He is Ontario's Minister in charge of Economic Development, and your job is to go out there and make sure that people know we're open for jobs. What are the numbers over the last year, over the last 18 months, say about what's been going on in Ontario?
Well, Brian, what we're hearing from the business community, who are the ones who are doing all this hiring, is that the plan that Premier Ford and our government has put in place is working. We've created since the election, 296,700 men and women went to work today that weren't working 19 months ago.
Okay, now the Premier likes to say government doesn't create jobs, creates the environment. I know you've used that term before. What are you doing to change the environment to make Ontario a place where people are hiring again then? Because it can't just be the changing government. And in fairness, there was some job creation under the previous government as well. But what's changed over the last 18 months?
The former Premier was told by the former chief of Fiat Chrysler that she has created Ontario as the most expensive jurisdiction in North America in which to do business. So what we've done is taken about $5 billion out of the cost of doing business in Ontario by lowering WSIB premiums by more than $2 billion without lowering the benefits for the workers. We did not go ahead with the Liberal government's planned tax increase of $308 million. We put in what's called an accelerated capital cost, and that's a fancy way of saying you could write off your new equipment purchases in year. That saved about $1 billion to the business community.
So you're buying new equipment to make your facility more competitive, more productive. You can write it off quicker.
Write it off.
Okay,
so it's about $5 billion in savings.
So overall, the numbers are really good, especially when you look at professional services, technical, scientific, all these things are up. But here's the rub. You guys, the Ontario PC government was elected promising bring back manufacturing. Compared to 2 years ago, we're down 40,000 jobs. 785,000 jobs in manufacturing in Ontario 2 years ago, now 745. It was 771,000 a year ago. It's still down. What do you need to do to turn that around?
Well, a couple of things. So we saw the job manufacturing numbers stabilize this month. There were no losses this month. There were losses, huge losses nationwide, but none in Ontario. We've seen a real turn in Ontario. We're the number 2 car manufacturing location in all of North America, just after Michigan. We make just under 2 million cars. They make just over 2 million cars. But we've seen a real shift in Ontario to connected and autonomous vehicles. Ford has 400 employees they've hired in Ottawa. Uber, just down the street from where we are, I cut the ribbon there. They hired 300 people in their connected and autonomous vehicle. GM has 700 up in Markham. So we've seen a real shift into connected and autonomous vehicles. A lot of high tech is going into automotive and automotive manufacturing.
That's great if you're in Ottawa, Toronto, or one of the major centers. But a lot of parts of Ontario still rely on manufacturing. I know you've got the job challenge. That's where you're trying to partner with municipalities to find a site to bring in a major manufacturer. How's that going? Do you have the sites picked? Do you have municipal partners? And do you have interest from global manufacturers?
When we were in India, South Korea, Japan, we were asked the same question: where can we locate? If we decided to come to Ontario, do you have a site ready? And we don't. So we created the Job Site Challenge, and this will put acreage from 500 acres to 1,500 that we'll make sure is serviced and ready to go, so that if and when a manufacturer wants to come to Ontario, they've made that decision that they want to have a new plant, we will be ready to go. So the municipalities have from January 1 to March 31st to submit their planned locations, and we will take it from there, do an analysis. It's a mega site plan, much like they do in the United States, and we'll take it from there and market these sites worldwide.
All right, last question. What are the chances of us getting a new auto plant, a new auto manufacturer? I know that you're pitching to Tata in India, Daewoo in Korea. Are we going to see a Volkswagen plant here? Volvo what?
I don't want to get any expectations heightened, but we're working hard at it. But what we certainly know is Toyota in Cambridge just invested $1.4 billion here in Ontario. They were named the #1 auto manufacturing plant in the world by J.D. Power. So we know that the world knows that, the world understands that Ontario knows how to make cars.
Vic Fideli, thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.